Night. And for Dawn, maybe I should wait until she gets on, but she says I always start my Facebook Lives with lip gloss. Like this. Hello, hello. D is on. Hey, girl. How are you? Thanks for being here. Jenna's here. Hi, Jenna. My personal miracle morning buddy. Thank you guys for joining me tonight and spending your Tuesday with me. Hi, Catherine. Hey, Dawn. Did you see? I took care of that first thing. Just for you, girl. Yay. Hey, Jen. She's here too. Sandy. Thank you guys all for joining me tonight. Yay. Adria, I was checking out your Facebook today because you got a shout out on the group. And it does look amazing, and I loved your little videos and your mention about ThreadUp. I'm going to use that for one of my clients coming up this week, so thank you for the heads up. Can anyone else not hear me? Is that just one? Hey, everybody. Sorry, let's see. Okay, let me know if anybody else can't hear me. Otherwise, I would try to log out of your Facebook or log out of your browser and then just sign back in. And you won't miss anything, or we'll catch you up. Hey, Lisa. Dawn can hear me. Okay, good. Dawn's coming to Austin, Texas this summer, and we're going to get together and have margaritas together. And maybe we will do a little Facebook clip for y'all. Yay, Margaret's here too. Jennifer's here. Yay. Okay, Adria says ThreadUp may not be accepting donations until June. So they may not be accepting them in May. Alicia, thank you. Alicia says I look pretty, and I got to laugh at that because thank you. And I looked fine today after work, but then I got home, fed the dogs, had dinner, and decided I should add 3 more pounds of makeup because I was doing Facebook Live. And then I looked like a drag queen. So now my eyes are kind of red because I had spent some time rubbing off a lot of eye makeup because I don't know why I added it to begin with. So I look better now. Danielle is here. I checked out your fabulous news segment. If anybody hasn't seen that, Danielle, you should totally post that to the group and let everybody watch it and praise you. And you did a great job. She gave tips on summer organizing for the kids at home and really good creative ideas. Your display looked fabulous. It was wonderful. Okay, good. Can you hear me now? Welcome back. Hey, Jen. So we're talking about supplies tonight. How to get supplies for your clients, how to get reimbursements, what supplies to get, all that jazz. If you have clients and you haven't done that for them already, then they will love you if you start introducing this as part of your service, which it should be, especially if you're doing package pricing and all-inclusive and all that stuff. So supplies can change a space, and you don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on them. I think you can find them for I wrote down a couple of places where you can get them for better prices, but you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. But it's awesome if your client is willing to put some money towards a budget for getting supplies. So we're going to dive into that tonight. And yay, Danielle says this is her favorite topic, so please chime in anytime you have some advice, because I would love to hear other people's point of view. I don't know that this is the way to buy supplies, but it's definitely my way, and it works for me. So I would love to share it. And Dawn says, Dawn looks really happy that we're talking about shopping. The best part of shopping for clients. Oh, and I'm drinking white wine tonight. Jeremiah's out of town for 2 weeks, and it's the most that we've ever been apart. And I'm a mess without him. I don't wake up as early as I want to wake up. I stay up really late, and all I can think about is Netflix and food all day long. And he is healthy and really helps me with the healthy habits in my life. But anyways, I was going back. Let's see, I lost my train of thought, and I said the best part about shopping for clients is that you get to spend their money, and you get to spend a lot of it sometimes, or sometimes, you keep it on a budget. But you get to spend other people's money to create the look that you're envisioning for the space, and it looks awesome. It all comes together. So I want to also remind everybody about the free course. If you haven't taken it, if you're a newbie here to the group, I'm not getting updated comments, so can somebody put something across the screen if y'all can still hear me? It's not changing right now. Thank you. Okay, explosion of them. Yay. So back to the free course. If you're new to the group and you're just getting introduced to us, we do Facebook Lives every Tuesday night, and Jen usually hosts them. She is the creator behind this genius baby group that we all get to talk about organizing and be obsessed with each other and the same things and share secrets. So the free course is a 7-day course that gives you information on how to get started, especially if you're just now discovering that this is something people will pay you for, because they will pay you, and they will, in some cases, pay you a lot of money. So take the free course, and it answers a ton of your questions, and then you can search the archives of our videos on YouTube, and then I think there's an info page on the Facebook group under something. Jen, chime in. Hunter's here. Hey, girl. I think it's resources under the Facebook page, but it's not very obvious, so I think it's on the left side of the page, and then you can search for topics that we've talked about in the past and all of that. So start with the free course. And the other thing I want to mention is that Danielle's Build Your Team guide is coming out June 1st. So if you use the promo, which Jen will put in the comments, and she said that it's called the Welcome Doc on the Facebook group. There's a code that you can get $30 off Danielle's Build Your Team guide right now, and that goes until May 31st at midnight. So June 1st, it gets released to all of you, but I'm smiling because it was released to me this weekend, and I totally obsessed over it and did it today. I did a little bit yesterday too, but if you have time to sit and dedicate to it a couple of hours, you can power through it and read all the resources. If you want to take longer, you can, but I was so excited, and I cannot wait to build my team and add subcontractors to my team. So I got to preview it, and I loved it. Danielle, thank you so much. Thank you for providing that content. I can't wait to see what subcontractors do for my business, especially as I'm really excited about it because I want to travel. I'm going to be moving to another state, so I'm going to try to do business from 2 places. And then eventually I'm going to have more than just fur babies, and I'm going to have real babies. And I cannot wait to see. I would just love to be pregnant at home, eating ice cream, and people are making money for me because I have my subcontractors lined up, ready to go. I trust them. They know my system. They know my clients, all that stuff. Just thank you. There's so much amazing information. And she breaks down all the legalese of basically the way not to have employees versus subcontractors. And she talked about that a couple of weeks ago. There is a Facebook Live on that when Danielle was on. Diana says, would you say as newbies we should think of subcontractors? Yes. One of the things that Danielle talks about is the time to get subcontractors is now. Because anytime that you're busy, anytime you want to go out of town for the weekend, or if you're just working on your side hustle, all of this is a good thing to have subcontractors for, because you don't have to turn away business. You can implement them even if you're only making a little bit of profit on it. She breaks down all the percentages suggested, what she would pay if you're a new organizer, all kinds of stuff. It's a fabulous guide. And like I said, you can power through it in a couple of hours and have all of those questions answered. She's been doing it, I think, for 2 years now. So she knows what she's talking about, and it's fabulous. It's called a guide because it straight up walks you through the process, like holds your hand all the way there. So I'm excited for that. And then we're talking about supplies. So I'll start talking about that. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have along the way about supplies. I'll try to stay up to date with those. If you are just starting out and you haven't had to even do this yet because you don't have a client yet, then this is a great time for you to learn about it. If you already have clients and you haven't been doing this, or you have clients and maybe your process isn't running very smooth for you, then maybe you can gain something from this too. Ashley says, is this a new group we should be following, Danielle? No, Danielle is in the group now. She is also in the master class, and she is an established organizer where most of the people, the classes, I mean, the organizing group, Pro Organizer Studio, is really geared towards newbies who want to start their organizing business. But we actually have a ton of experienced organizers. I've been doing this for 6 years. Danielle's been doing this for a couple of years, and she's been doing it for 2 years with subcontractors and blowing her business out of the water by how much she's been making because she's added that to her business. So she's in the group, and you can find her guide on the Pro Organizer Studio website. You are welcome. So supplies. So like I said earlier, it's awesome when you can add this to your organizing project. It's not required, and in some cases you can use stuff they already have. A lot of times people will actually buy supplies, bring them in their house, and then they sit in a closet, or they sit in the bags, or they sit in the garage, because people don't know how to use the supplies that they bought because they didn't buy them with much thought behind them. So this has just always been something that came really easily to me, and it probably comes easy to a lot of you too. And I've known which supplies are going to work well in a space, and a lot of times clients aren't able to visualize what it's going to do, or maybe they just don't know how the supply really works or how it functions best, because there's not usually directions on them other than a picture. But people buy supplies all the time without a particular space in mind. They don't take measurements. They don't think about the actual functionality of the product compared to the things that they have at home. Or they don't know how to install it correctly, or, I mean, it's a number of reasons, but people buy stuff because they want to get organized, and then they don't implement the systems, or they're using them incorrectly, or they're sitting in their garage not being used at all. So you can start with the things that they have at their house, because they're guaranteed to have some Tupperware that you pull out of a closet, or out of a, small shoe boxes where they have the lid off or even on, but I see a lot of them off with mail stacked in them and stuff like that. So you can utilize those for sorting, and you can also use them to get their system started if it's something that you think fits for that space. But you should always ask your client if they have a supplies budget in mind. And if they're like, well, what do you mean? You can say, well, for instance, after we organize your closet, we'll stick with a closet and a kitchen for examples, because I can think of a lot of things for those. We can say, after we organize your closet and we know what we need, we can buy things to go for your closet that fit, like a hanging shoe rack. Container Store has those that have a really thick, sturdy, I don't know if it's cardboard, maybe it is, but it's a really sturdy cardboard that separates, and I think it's 6 compartments. You can get them with shoes. This one I think is a sweater hanging box. So it just provides 6 shelves in your closet. It has a very sturdy hanger. You can also get those at like Walmart or the dollar store or whatever, and then the shelf does this when you put any amount of weight in it, and they're not good. It usually rips off the hooks from the actual hanger. So you want to invest in those, and because your client will probably also say, well, I can get those at the dollar store, I can get those at wherever, but you want to encourage them as a professional. You want the nicer product here. You don't have to go, Gucci hanger, but the Container Store has that product for $19.99, and it lasts, and they will hold a lot of weight. We've used them in our office with printer paper, like 3 stacks in each one, and it held up fine. That worked for office shelving. And Emily, have no fear. Container Store has really great shipping, and I did the research for you. They do free shipping on $75 or more. Hold, please. And if you, I can help you with whatever products if you're not sure because you haven't been to a Container Store. Container Store does free shipping for orders at $75 or more, and Bed Bath & Beyond does them for $29.99 or more. So that's pretty awesome, and you can probably print return labels for both of them too. I know for Container Store you can, at no extra charge to you. So first, I think, tell me if I'm jumping around, sorry if I am. You can't go wrong with the Container Store. You really can't. I don't buy everything at the Container Store because I think it can get a little pricey, and I do think you can find similar products at less expensive places sometimes, but there are some go-to products that only the Container Store has, or that I know they'll always have multiples of. If I'm doing a kitchen, I need to get multiple shelves that are exactly the same. Then I'll go to the Container Store for that, or Bed Bath & Beyond. They have similar kitchen shelves. Jenna was just at the Container Store yesterday. And Jenny doesn't have a Container Store or an IKEA in this state. What state are you in? And have you looked into shipping for your areas? Diana, they used to give a discount if you were in an organization. I think now you can do a member affiliate, like not member, excuse me, but a professional affiliate program, but you have to sell a certain amount of products. Danielle will probably know more about that because she has also done some work with the Container Store. If you can chime in on that, that would be fabulous. Also, Danielle has a wealth of knowledge about the products at the Container Store. So she's a good person Maybe she can do a Facebook Live about that too. That would be interesting. So what was I saying? Okay, so backing up, before you're getting clients or getting supplies for your clients, you have to know what's out there to know what's good. So I would recommend that at least until you know what's there, what stores you have. Some of my favorite places to hit, Costco has the velvet hangers for, I think there's 35 in the box for $10, and you can't beat that anywhere else. That's where Container Store has them for a whole lot more expensive. They have the Joy brand, and I do like the white hangers better than I like the black in some cases, but they're way more expensive at Container Store, and the longer I've had them, they get dust on them, so they don't really stay white. But the black ones get lint on them, so it's the lesser evil if you like that type of hanger. So I get those at Costco. Bed Bath & Beyond has a lot of really good stuff for kitchens. They have all the kitchen things, drawer organizers, silverware, flatware, shelf, what are they called? I guess it's just a little cabinet shelf. It's like a wire, I don't know what to call it. Like it's a shelf. So you can get them in the medium, large. You can get them in the corner ones where the small plates fit in with the bowl on top. I'll send links if you want on the group. I can put this in the info or maybe add it to something. Danielle says, I believe they do discount for members of associations like NAPO, but it's more like a commission check. I believe they send you gift cards at the end of the year for a percentage of what you spend. Thank you, Danielle. That's a good thing. Nearest is Bed Bath & Beyond, Lowe's, and Target. Okay, those are really good options. Lowe's has some organizing stuff. So does Home Depot. They have at least basic shoe shelves and stuff like that you can get. And Bed Bath & Beyond, you can definitely get a lot, and Target. So if you guys can think ahead and get your client to commit to spending a certain amount on supplies, and if they don't know what they should budget for that, you can say, well, I'll put together a suggested list of things I think we should get, and we can walk through it together, and you can say, yes, let's go ahead and do that, or no, we can do that one at a later time. Yeah, and Walmart does have a lot of good inexpensive containers, yes. Watch out for their closet hanging organizers, like I told you, because they're not always as durable, but they do have a lot of good options, actually. Oh, how do you organize your favorite supplies list? Let me see, Emily, I missed that question. I don't know if you'll cover this, but I'd like to know how you organize your favorite supplies list, if you keep a list. That is a good question. My list for all the things is up here, except for my list of all the Post-it notes. Those are everywhere too. Have them all over my life. But my ideas for supplies are in my head. For some reason, I guess I should create something, especially for places like IKEA. Okay, I do have a shopping list that I saved from on IKEA, so maybe that's like that idea of having my lists. Okay, let me back up again. The best way to learn about supplies is to go shopping. Go and like leave your wallet at home or something, or if you do have a little bit of money, maybe buy a couple of things and play with them at home in your own space and see how they work for you. If they don't work for you, return them. If something better would work for you, get that. Start experimenting with some of those products that you can buy that you'll use all the time. Like you will use the cabinet, kitchen cabinet shelves. I don't know why that's difficult for me. I want to call it a cabinet organizer, which I guess it sort of is. Tammy got some of the black hangers at Walmart. Stainless steel shelving racks. Okay, like this is from Jennifer. Like industrial ones that go in the garage, or are they for a kitchen or like a pantry that needs racks? Tell me a little more detail about that. You can get those. You can get them on Amazon. I do think, and that's a good idea too, Jennifer. She creates pins for products on a secret board on Pinterest. I think you can get the shelving racks online, but because they're so heavy, they may have a bigger shipping cost. Otherwise, if you have a Home Depot or Lowe's, they both are going to have those. Emily saves stuff on an Amazon wish list. That's a good idea. Yeah, because you can separate it out on Amazon too, right? It's not the same as like it doesn't have to be the same as all your wish lists. Jennifer, for the kitchen. Yeah, you check at Lowe's. IKEA has several smaller ones too, and they can do shipping. So you want to go shopping. Sorry, I'm bouncing around. I want to get to your questions too. You want to go shopping so you know what people have. IKEA has an online lookbook where they show all kinds of stuff with their products, obviously merchandised in them, and you can get an idea for other ways to use a product that you would not necessarily have thought about using it that way. And you can also look up on Pinterest IKEA furniture hacks. You can see all kinds of stuff on stuff like that. Let's see. Danielle says, also, I have had training by the Container Store on their products, and one thing I learned that I had no clue was that they do work with the manufacturers directly on products to make them the best. That's amazing. So for a container you see at Target in the Container Store, it is higher priced at the Container Store. There may be a reason, like an extra coat of scratch-resistant protectant layer or whatever it may be for that product. That is badass. I did not know that. That makes me want to get them there more than usual, actually, because it is a better product. I do like what they have at Target, too, but I love to hear that about the Container Store. Plus, you have a great experience every time you're there. I always love the employees. And Jenna said the Container Store should sponsor our group. I'm fully in support of that. Or any of these places, actually. So other places you can get them. I said it, Bed Bath & Beyond, Amazon, and if you have the Prime option, that's amazing too. With Amazon, you want to stick with main brands for organizing supplies because you just don't know the quality you're going to get unless you've ordered it before, or unless you have enough time to test it out and send it back if it's not what you want. But you don't want to rely on that order and then it comes in right before you have your client. But if you have multiple sessions with them, that's okay too. You can, and if you live in a place that doesn't have those places, they're going to understand, okay, we don't have a Container Store, so we do have to plan in advance. So if you do live in a place like that, you can have your consult and schedule your session out for a week or two after you meet so that you can account for that shipping time. And you also don't have to buy supplies for the first session. It can be when you finish up or after the second one where you're like, okay, we need these kind of things to help us keep going or to move from this room and complete it to head to the next space. And you can always keep an ongoing list with your client of things that you need. Because I offer package pricing and all-inclusive service, shopping is something that I do for my clients, but I still have clients that want to do their own shopping. So I tell them, I'll do that for you, don't worry. Even with some Goodwill donations, they take them themselves. I'm like, I'm going to fill up my whole car for you. They're like, that's okay, you've done enough today. I'm like, it is included in what you paid me. That's okay, I'll take them. I'm like, okay. So sometimes you'll have a client who wants to do that too, if you can just tell them what to get. And I've spent a lot of time with clients on the computer shopping on Amazon with them. Or they give me their account information and I do the shopping and add it to their wish list from home, and then they purchase it when they look over it and approve it. So let's see. Ashley, you need to make time to stop by the Container Store, girl. And you too, Emily. And bring a snack because you're going to want to be there for a while. Alicia is patiently waiting for her IKEA printed catalog in the mail. Yay, you're going to love it. It's thick and it has so many ideas and inspiration. You can also use Pinterest to say whatever you need, pantry organizing supplies. If you really have no idea what's out there, just start doing your research and start seeing what's going to fit best. If you're an organizer, you've already got the brain and you can go, oh, that's a badass supply that I didn't know existed. And because I'm an organizer, I know that can be used for snacks, cotton balls, toothpicks, dry goods, dog treats. Like, you're thinking of all these different things that you could put in there because a lot of supplies are multifunctional. So do your research. You can search on Pinterest for different spaces. Like I told you, you can do that if you've got like understairs closet, looking for idea for understairs closet. You'll see so many pictures of things that you can either build out with a contractor or supplies you can buy. And you can always post to the group too and post your picture and say, here's what I'm working on with my client. Any ideas? Lisa did that recently and everybody had a lot of ideas for her closet. Let's see. One of my clients doesn't want her husband to know how much we are spending. Oh yeah, I get that. So sometimes they like to be sneakier. Is that what you mean? Or like she doesn't want to spend a lot on supplies? Ashley says, IKEA releases a catalog twice a year with the products for the year. The new one should be released soon. I didn't know it was only twice a year, so that makes me feel like I need to be reading it more often. I just scour the website like crazy. If you've decluttered and taken a room apart and are waiting on supplies to be mailed, do you leave the room taken apart for days? I would I always make stacks or some sort of straightening by the end of a session and make the room functional again if they use that room. Now, if it's a guest room that is upstairs where they don't even turn the air conditioning on because they never go up there, leave it just as it is and close the door. And when you have the stuff or you schedule your next session, you can go back up there. But if it's their main living room and they're going to walk through it every single day, stack it up and make it livable and pretty for them for the time being, and make it where by the time you have the supplies, everything just goes first drawer, second drawer, third, or whatever the system is. Lisa said her client is being sneaky. Put a heart on the screen if you've had a client who's trying to be sneaky from her husband, or vice versa. I've had both, where he doesn't want her to know, even though she hired me, but they asked me to do their spaces. People are always trying to be sneaky. Okay, so I told you some of my favorite places. Home Goods, Marshalls. I think TJ Maxx was something else someone mentioned, Jenna. All good places where you can get inexpensive supplies like baskets. So that brings me to my next point, or not that I've had a structured, pointed speech so far, but it does take me to the next section of things you want to look for when you're buying supplies. First, you want to ask if they have a budget, figure out what it is. If they don't know, create a list for them of things you think they need and get a subtotal and say, would you be willing to spend this? If it doesn't work out, we can return it, or vice versa. The next thing you want to do is, if it's like a playroom, you want to have supplies that are space appropriate. So if it's a playroom that are going to have toys in them and possibly need lids, or if it's, younger kids, they need an open top that they can just grab into, then maybe you don't put like beautiful wicker baskets in there. You put plastic bins that have an open top that are colorful, that make sense for a playroom. But if you maybe have your playroom in the living room where you want it to look hidden in a TV media cabinet, maybe that's where you do bring the wicker baskets in. So consider the space that you're organizing and the decor in the room and try to fit it to that space for functionality and for, a pleasing aesthetic. And then look for their color scheme. So if it is colorful and it's a playroom, look for colors that they already have in there, or complement. Like I did a playroom where they had several windows across one side of the wall, and they were all white trim, beautiful windows that had I don't know what it's called, but they didn't have blinds on them, and they were just gorgeous. So I highlighted the white and added the white Trofast bins from IKEA, and then we did colorful drawers, and it all popped in there, and the kids loved it. But you can also tell your clients what you're going to get before you get it too, if you want, so that they can approve or say, oh my gosh, you're so fabulous. Christy, thank you for joining us. And what did Adria say? Oh my gosh, I remember rushing out of a session early because the husband was coming home. I felt like I was creeping. Yes, girl, I've done that. And you just think, this was before I did package pricing too. And I was like, is she going to pay me? Was this a trick? Is she pretending like our husband's coming home, but she's not going to pay me? Okay. Oh my gosh, Layne, Jenny said, I don't even know what you are responding to, because who knows what I said. So color scheme, checking for decor. You can get so many like baskets at Home Goods, Marshalls, stuff like that have 3 stacking baskets that are all, a little bit larger, that look cute in a space in a media center or in some, whatever. Or you can get, if you're not following Lindsay, Simplicity Reclaimed, her Instagram is amazing. And she's got a recent picture of wicker baskets in a mudroom with a chalkboard label on the front of each one and the kid's name on each one. And it's beautiful. It's way better than having like a Tupperware there that separates everybody's stuff. It's better than having everybody's stuff on a countertop. Everybody has their own basket, so they know where to get their stuff. And I think her caption is, no more running around in the morning looking for your stuff. And I thought it was beautiful, and I love that use of baskets in the space because it does provide a supply, also adds to the decor. It's functional, and it's practical, and it's beautiful. Another thing you want to do is measure the space that you're looking for supplies in. If it's a tight spot, like if it's a pantry and you're not sure how deep the shelves are. Same for cabinets when you're getting shelves or really anything. This is helpful for when you're doing shelf liner and stuff too. Measure your cabinets, measure the length, measure the depth, measure the height. If you have adjustable shelves or not, then you can, I just fidget with everything. If it's not this, I was holding on to Carmex, I was holding on to my towel, just an ADD kid in a grown-up's body. And I lost my train of thought again. But what was I saying? Measure things. Under the sink, measure for height where the drain is under the sink. Because if you add a drawer or a shelf of any kind, you have to see what's going to be in the way of that. What's going to be an organizing obstacle. Yeah, the antics of disorganized people never end. I did get paid, and her husband was not aware that we did it. She paid me cash every session. I don't know how she pulled that one off, but I wasn't mad about it. I was walking out with fat stacks. Okay, so ask me some questions about supplies too, because I'm happy to answer like where my favorite places or what my favorite products are. If you have a question like about pantries. Another thing I can get at Costco are plastic bins for the garages sometimes. Hi, Maral. Thank you. And those are really good when you're categorizing like people who love to keep their kids' art, which I'll probably be one of them. And when I am, I'm going to hit all of you organizer moms up and say, what's wrong with me? I want to keep everything they ever made, ever. So help me. Talk me through that gently, because as a person with no kids, I'm like, you don't need to keep all this. And I still don't think you do, but I think there's a way to honor it, keep some of it without collecting bins and bins and bins of stacked photo memories, painting memories before they're even really making a painting. How do they do payments? Now I do payments in advance. At the time, I was doing it after each session, and she would pay me cash. Craft bookcase or craft armoire for small wall. Okay, so craft stores really have some pretty good organizing supplies. They can get a little pricey. But look on places like Joann's or Michael's. They have good craft items. So does Amazon. IKEA does too, really. Look for craft ideas for IKEA. Just Google something like that, and they've got all kinds of little compartments or drawer dividers that can go in craft drawers. They've got shallow drawers at IKEA if you're a painter and you have a lot of large flat papers that can't be painter or artist of any kind, that can't be bent up and they take up a lot of space. Those kind of shelves are awesome because you can categorize them by what you're working on or sold or prints that you need to sell, stuff like that. Let's see if I missed anything. Yes, you can take a picture. This is from Darren. Take a picture and make a photo book of their artwork. Done. Yes, that's what I want to do for a couple of my clients with Shutterfly. I haven't had anybody take me up on it yet, but I've done it for my mom for a gift, and it does kind of take a lot of time. So I guess if you're taking the pictures as you go, you can upload everything. It's not like you have to organize the photos if they're all in there, unless they want them organized by kid and by age, and it does take a lot of time, so I haven't thought of a price for that yet. I don't know if someone would be willing to pay me hourly for that, but if they are, I'll take it. What items do you use to cover ventilated shelving so items don't slip through the shelves? Tell me what else you mean by that. Like if I'm thinking of the graded shelves that the industrial racks, I use plastic shelf liner to go on that so that little items don't fall through. But I don't think that would hold if you did a shelf that had skinny peg legs. I think it would poke through that. Like if you made a second tier of things. Tell me if that's what you mean. Or what kind of ventilated shelving. Oh, I just tried to use my computer to scroll down on on the comments. Oops. Oh, how do I do payments for supplies? Obviously. Okay, yes. So I always do reimbursements for supplies. That's something that I put aside in my business when I make money, is to put a certain amount into, that's what I mostly consider in my operating costs. If you watch the Profit First Facebook Live or read that book, then you know what I'm talking about. But operating costs are, for me, things like my accounting software, my Canva invoices, supplies that I get for clients. I put that money there and I front them the money for the supplies, and then they reimburse me based on what they want to keep, because a lot of times I get a lot of stuff and then we try a bunch of it out and I'll take back whatever we don't use, because I'd way rather have the products there while I'm in the session than have to bring, just a few of them each time I come, which you can do that if there's one more thing you forgot and you're like, or something didn't work out, you can bring it to the next one. Once you're in the laundry room, you can say, hey, I brought this thing for the kitchen. It's going to fit perfect. That's where there's a huge benefit in working with a client in multiple sessions, because even if you don't buy supplies right away, once you're further in the project and you come across a bunch of photo albums that they forgot about that actually go in this other closet where there's photo albums, you can say, I know the perfect thing that will fit there and accommodate those photo books that we didn't think of when we organized that space, and I'll bring them at our next session. Or, hey, I've been thinking about this, and for under the shoe closet, or under the stair closet, I finally came up with a solution. Here's what we should do, because we should move this stuff from the garage in there. You know there's stuff better when you work in multiple sessions, and you can really provide the best type of supplies for them then, because you know what they're using them for too, and how often they're using them for, and you know how easy it needs to be for them to get it. How do you have that conversation about a budget for supplies and getting them to approve the kinds of things you want to buy? They're not going to always approve them, but when I've shown people a supplies list, if I've put it together and I've talked with them and walked them through the house, they've never said no. Or sometimes I've been as bold to just bring supplies with me and say, I brought some of my favorite things. If I feel like we need them, is it okay if I pull and use them? They're like, absolutely, just let me know how much it is at the end. I've had clients that do that, and I brought, last summer I did a garage job for 6 hours. Well, I did their whole house, but I did 6-hour days, and I probably brought at least $100 to $200 of supplies each session, and they used all of them, and they bought all of them, and they loved it. Sometimes you're going to have that client. You don't always have that client. But you just say, in the consult, or before they book your session, you can say, okay, have you thought about a budget for supplies? When they're talking about which one should I get, this is expensive, or I don't know how many sessions I need to get, you can say, most people go, this is sort of what we guide you to do. Go somewhere in the middle, and I'll suggest for you what supplies I think you need. If you don't know what kind of budget you need to have, I'll give you what I think you need once we start working together, and you can approve or not, or you can get them at a later day. Most of the time, people are like, you're here, I'm spending money on you already, you're going to bring the supplies for me, you're going to do the shopping, and I'll just reimburse you for them. Because I also don't mark up the supplies. Since I have an all-inclusive price, I don't add any extra money to what I bought the supplies for. I just give it to them at cost, because that's a part of my service. So people usually say, yes, absolutely, get the supplies. Or, yes, get the hangers. We can hold off on the shoe racks for now. Most of the time they're not going to do that. And if your prices are at a place where people can afford you, they can also afford having a few supplies that are much cheaper than installation or custom closet redesign, stuff like that. Take pictures of the kids' art instead of keeping the clutter. That's a good idea, Jody. Payments for products. Yes, so I can invoice them, but I usually will make a copy of the receipt and give them the receipt in an invoice, and then they pay me back for that. When you invoice it, you have to know how you're filing it in your system. If your accounting system is all set up, then everything will be fine, but if you're not linked up, it can throw you off from experience. I didn't have my bank account linked to my accounting system, so it wasn't tracking my expenses when I was buying those products, and it was invoicing in my accounting system as though I was making income on the product, which I really wasn't, because they were just reimbursing me for a cost that I had. So yeah, I think invoicing is the best way, but copy the receipt, and then you're not required to line item break it all down. If you want to do that, you can include all of that in your accounting system. I had that, and I would go in and line item everything, and I just don't have the time for that anymore. So my clients know what I got them. Usually they'll write me a check right at the end of the day when I give them that. So I do my sessions, they pay in advance. But if they're reimbursing me for supplies, they'll just write me a check at the end of the day. Or if they want to do a credit card, I will include, I'll charge them for the service fee that I'll be cost for that, or that I'll have to pay for because of using a credit card, if that makes sense. When you slide a credit card, they charge you a percentage, and I will charge them what that percentage of the company. I use a Square reader. I'll charge my client that percentage if they want to pay through credit card, because then I'm losing money on getting reimbursed. So I prefer a personal check for that one, just for the exact amount that I paid for you. And people are usually cool with that. Just let them know in advance. Thank you for letting me know that makes sense. Let's see. Dawn has some of her daughter's art in a frame. It's simple ones that complement her decor. That's a good idea. Ashley says, I want to redo my boss's pantry. What's the best product to put packaged snacks in? Applesauce, fruit snacks, packaged crackers. There's a bin at the Container Store called the Linus bin. And Danielle actually showed them today on her, well, I don't know when her filming was, but somebody posted on her Facebook about her news segment, and she had it in her clip, and she has like Lara bars, granola bars, stuff like that, and they're open, they're in a clear bin, and they contain it all. So if you take the package, take everything out of the package and empty it out into those, and you can label the front of it snacks for stuff like this. And she also had one for applesauce that was in the fridge that was narrow, that goes all the way to the back, and you can just pull it out. The child artwork frame on Amazon. It stores the old ones and displays the newest. That's a great idea. I need to check into that. People don't give you issues with full payment in advance. It's a good idea, but doesn't seem like it would protect the buyer. So, Oz, have you taken, I guess you probably have taken the free course. I don't know. Have you taken it? Or have you heard about the master course? Because we talk about all the benefits of getting paid in advance and how amazing it is. We've talked about that in several Facebook videos. So I won't go into too much detail about it, but being paid in advance helps your client to commit to what you're there to do, and then eliminates you from having to chase down your paycheck every time. I took pictures of all my child's artwork from toddler till he began kindergarten this year and made an art book through an online photography place. That's a great idea too. Will you post the link for it? Do I accept cash, check, or card? Yes, yes, and yes. I accept them all, and I send an invoice for all of them after I've received them. Hobby Lobby, yes. Tammy for crafts. They're fabulous for crafts, and I feel like they have better prices than places like Joann's. Keepy and Archive are both apps that let you take pictures of your kids' artwork, and then you can make albums from them. They have folders for each kid. I could kiss you on the mouth right now. I have a client that is pretty much living in children's artwork, and she is going to kiss me on the mouth when I tell her about these two apps, Danielle. Thank you. I'm writing them down as we speak. An Archive. Okay. Thank you. Okay, the shelves that are basic by the builders, that are ventilated. I guess I don't know what you mean about ventilated. If you want to post it to the group or something after the chat, I would be happy to help you post a picture of it or something. Oh, it looks like I'm so far behind on comments, y'all. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find you. Oh, Susan's response about the foam core board. That's perfect. To Oz. Okay, for kid keepsakes, there's a really good product out there called Saver. It's a storage unit that has cubbies for different things to keep. You can follow them on Instagram. Yes, if you have clients that absolutely want to keep their stuff, where do you keep all the supplies? Do you return them if the client doesn't want them? So, usually yes, because it's easiest to keep track of them that way. To just return them and get your money back, and then you have less invoicing for yourself. But sometimes, if there's a product that I really love, like the multi-purpose bin from the Container Store, in sizes large and extra large, I have bought them out of their stock multiple times in the store. So if I know I've got a really big pantry job coming up and I love to use those bins, then I will pre-order like 20 of each one and keep them in my garage and just pull from them and charge the client for what they are individually plus the sales tax. And I always ask permission, when I'm doing it. I'm never going to slap a huge supplies bill on you that you didn't approve. But people love it. Once you get them in there and you show them pictures of what their pantry could look like, and it doesn't have to cost a ton of money. It can be a couple $100s, and it can look fantastic. And you can even start them off with $150 or $200 of kitchen supplies, and that will be a huge difference in their pantry from what it was before. Not every single item has to be in a clear bin with a lid, the ones I'm talking about for cereal or for pasta. But if you put some of the basics that they use all the time, it really straightens up and beautifies what a pantry can look like, because they can look so cluttered with all the different packages and cardboard and colors and branding, and it looks stressful. Okay. Do you stock the things you continue to buy? Yes, I do, especially when then there is a sale. And do you still charge full price for those? You can do either way. Usually I will still charge full price for that, because if it's saved in my system, like certain items from the Container Store, occasionally the shoe boxes will go on sale and they're off like 75 cents to $1 or something like that. It's saved in my system as the regular price, and I don't give my client that sale price because that's more work for me, and it's, 75 cents off or something. If it's a significant discount, and I only do that with my stocked items, not give the sale because I've purchased it and it's in my system as whatever. If I'm buying something specifically for that client and it's on sale, then hell yeah, I give that to my client. That's like, hey, I went shopping for you and it was fate and this was $75 off. So absolutely. When do you ask them for reimbursement? Immediately or at the end of the session, or do you invoice them later? When you're buying supplies for a client, hopefully you have a good relationship with that client at that point, and whatever we end up using that day, I will ask them. If I trust them already, I'll say, I'll send you an invoice, or I'll bring my computer. I've done that several times too. I brought my computer, I made the invoice right there, showed it to them, they wrote me a check, and I emailed them the completed invoice right on the spot. It's best to just do it that way, especially if you're not in package pricing right now, because you may not see them for the next session, and you are not going to want to chase that check down. Yes, I do include the taxes on each item at the end of my invoice. And no, I don't go. So Jenny asked if I go shopping with them. If you want to include that as one of your services, absolutely you can. Lisa also does personal assistant work, and she does go shopping with some of her clients for organizing and for personal assistant. So if that's something your client wants to do with you and wants to spend time with you doing, I would consider that part of your session hours. That is time that anything that is session hours is time that you are not doing things in your personal life that you would want to do with your time. So I used to have a job as a nanny and a personal assistant when I was in college, and she would have me spend the night with her daughter sometimes, but she wouldn't pay me an overnight rate. And she said, well, since you're technically sleeping, then you're not really working. And my justification, or my thing that I came back with there was, I am still working because I'm not sleeping in my own bed with my dog, with the TV on, in my comfortable house, doing whatever I want to do with my time. I'm technically working for you, otherwise I wouldn't be at your house at night. So yes, I am working. If you're working and shopping with that person, that's not your free time, so yes, you're working. That's their time as part of your session, because otherwise, for me, I can fit in all my supplies shopping at a time that I choose, on a day that I choose, and I usually fit it in between my own personal errands. So I also know it's not going to take me 2 hours to go in the Container Store because I know exactly what I want. For places like Container Store and Bed Bath & Beyond, I always order everything in advance. Container Store has a pickup option. They'll bring it out to your dang car like a queen, or you can just go inside and give them your order number and they have it all packaged and ready to go. They'll text you when your order's ready. And Bed Bath & Beyond has a pickup option where you just go in at the front and they already have your order pulled, and that can just save so much time because they already have it bagged up and packaged too, and they staple the receipt to the bag. That makes it really easy to separate client products and to not have to say where the hell is the receipt because it's on the bag. But you wouldn't lose it anyways, right? Because you're an organizer. Let's see. So no, I don't go shopping with them because it takes a lot longer. If they want to use my time shopping with them, I will let them know it will be part of our package time, and I'm happy to walk through whatever store of their choice and tell them all about every product to the extent of my knowledge and where it can be used. I do not use Wave, but I would love. I'm happy to change. I'm with QuickBooks, and I don't really love it. And yes, I'm using a Square Reader. I use Venmo for for product reimbursement. I really encourage a lot of my clients to use Venmo, and they can reimburse you right away for the exact amount. So you don't have to have a credit card charge. You don't have to have a check written if they don't have checks, and you can sign up for them on the app. Just ask to do it for them on their phone. And people are always asking me, well, is this something that you do? And I said, anything that will make your life easier is in my job description. So as long as it's not illegal, I will help you do that. I invoice those items at a cost as a service, so it isn't counted as an expense. Yes, at cost. I I don't know what I do there, Tammy. I don't add anything extra if that's what you're asking. It's just completely at cost, and it balances out in my accounting system because it's already been marked out as an expense in my spending. And then the reimbursement, they cancel each other out. So I'm not making money and I'm not losing money. Okay. They pay. Oh, yes, they'll pay. How far away am I from? Okay, I'm almost caught up. I use QuickBooks. I don't love it, but it's also because I don't fully understand it. And you can get Hobby Lobby coupons on your phone. That's true. I think she means wire shelving in closets, builder grade. I think somebody already responded to that. Will you input your usual supplies and prices? Oh, Darren was asking about what system. So QuickBooks. That's all. Sorry, I didn't get back to that. And Mary uses the pickup option all the time. Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. I didn't see you logged on. What if you're just starting to organize and you don't have a budget to shop for supplies and get reimbursed later? That's a great question, too. You can ask your client. Sometimes they'll... I've had clients give me their credit cards, but not everybody might be comfortable with that. So you might ask for... show them online what you want to buy for them first, and then ask them to buy them online. Actually, you can email that to them and say, these are the supplies I think we need for your da-da-da. Would you please purchase these and have them shipped to your house before our session? Or purchase these and I'll stop by the store to pick them up. Send me your receipt and I'll stop by the store. They don't know any different. They don't know that other organizers don't do it that way. So if you just approach that confidently, they may just think that's the way that it goes. And for you, it is the way that it goes. You're the boss of you. You get to run your own business. So maybe that's taken out in your all-inclusive part if you need them to get it first. Or you can say whatever budget you agree on, they give you $300 of cash and you can go and buy that for them. And then give them the change and the receipts and all of that kind of stuff. That's a lot of the work that personal assistants do. I've used credit cards and cash for people all the time. As long as you bring the receipts back and, you know, leave. If they don't trust you at that point, then just have them get the supplies for you. They should be trusting you by that point. And if they're weird about it, just say, well, here's the things that we need if you can go take care of this list. If they trust you, cash and bring the change. That's right. And they should trust you. You're in their house going through all their stuff. It's super private. Stuff like that. Gosh, an hour flies by. I'm just checking the time. Y'all, I'm going to Vegas next week. My sister's turning 21. My little sister, which means everybody in our family's 21 now. So we don't have to drink out of paper cups. We can just tell people what we're drinking. I'm going to Vegas and I'm already tired about it. Like, I can't hang in Vegas. I could barely hang in Vegas when I was 21. I was trying to go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. And my feet, God, I remember like needing new feet the last time I went to Vegas. I'm not doing that either. Thankfully, she's bringing 2 friends that are also 21. So they can go to the club. They can search out all the clubs and all the whoever. The last time I went, the Jersey Shore people were popular. And we saw Pauly D somewhere. And that's all I remember about Vegas. Because everything else was a blur. And that's how it should be. But we're going with my mom and my 2 sisters and 2 of her friends. And yes, Jenna, I'm going to be at the pool a lot with my feet up because my mom is paying for the trip. So that's the only way I ever want to go to Vegas again. I never want to stay off the strip, eat McDonald's, go to the clubs. I'm trying to go with my mom and stay at a nice hotel, have nice reservations for dinner, and go see shows and lay by the pool. It's going to be fun, and I know my sister will love it. So just pray for me, maybe, or send good thoughts or whatever it is you do, because I'm already worried about it. I've been picking out outfits for 30 days. More like 4, and I borrowed a lot, but it feels like 30. Sorry, I went off on the tangent there. So, okay, what else supplies? Anybody else have anything supplies for me? Because we're getting close to an hour, and my mom is fun. And I've never been to New Orleans, so I'd be totally down for that, Jenny. Maybe that's where our organizing conference should be. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, recapping, there's a free course available if you didn't know about it. It's on the Facebook page. It's at proorganizerstudio.com. There is a Build Your Team guide coming out June 1st if you didn't know about it. Danielle wrote the guide that tells you how to have subcontractors, how to add people to your team, how to more than double your business. And she walks through every single step of what you need to do. Any magical ideas for lots of photos? Girl, find somebody who specializes in photo organizing and subcontract that work out if you don't like it, because I don't like photo organizing, and I've got a person in mind that I'm going to call right away. Thank you guys for joining me on Tuesday night. Thank you for drinking with me if anybody else was drinking. I had a glass before I started because I noticed that I never stop to really drink while I'm doing it, because it feels like you're judging me, or also it feels like I'm looking in the mirror while I'm drinking. And the last time I did this and was trying to drink, I swallowed a fly. So I think that's a song. Thank you guys for joining me. Had a lot of viewers tonight. Personal best, up to 45 at one point. Have a good night. Have a good week. Adios, amigos.